going on, you bunch of heathens? Today we are checking out the history behind devil dogs on Sabaton History. This is fun. You guys already know the drill. You know what I do. So, originals link below. Go check it out as always. And let's jump in.
I'm Indy Nidell.
And I'm Pat from Sabaton.
And this is Sabaton History.
Love me some Sabaton History.
The U.S. Marines, who got the nickname Devil Dogs, made a serious impact towards the end of the First World War.
And we thought that Devil Dogs would be a perfect title for a Sabaton song, and the story was really good.
It is a...
The U.S. Marines have been training for fighting the Great War in France since the U.S. declaration of war on Germany.
And I'm sorry, bro. It is also just a really good, like, oh, yeah, Marines. Of course you have to, it's the Marines. You have to have a fucking song about the Marines. And also, what else would you call it other than Devil Dogs? Maybe the Leathernecks, but Devil Dogs is so cool.
April 6, 1917.
Honestly, really cool one. The story behind the Marines, the what was it, Tripoli? Trying to remember the Bad Electrician video where he talked about it. But yeah, a story like that, that'd be really cool for them to fucking sing about.
They were a rather small force, not even 14,000 men strong.
Still pretty small.
But the U.S. Marine Corps could look back on a long and proud history of service. The soldiers of land and sea had served U.S. interests overseas in places like the Philippines, Haiti, and even the coasts of China. But now, they were sent out to fight in a global war of which the U.S. had only been a passive spectator, and their enemies were not poorly trained insurgents, but battle-hardened soldiers who'd seen years of active combat. To prepare themselves for modern war, the Marine Corps had included mostly French battle doctrines in their training, especially the new French emphasis on move and fire tactics.
Yeah, referencing that, yeah, that is a big reason why, well, not big, I'm mixing up my words. When it came to it, how do I want to say this? I don't know why I'm blanking. Fat Electrician's video on Dan Daily. He talks about it in that, where they were fighting up against for all intents and purposes, a superior force. And, in it, because this is the German army, you know, some of the most battle-hardened people out there at this point in time. And they dared stand against them and won.
But with the Marine Corps preference of the smaller platoon formation, equipped with rifles, light support artillery and machine guns, and rifle grenades, the Marines soon at least looked like a modern fighting force. And yes, before you comment, the American version of the show-shot light machine gun was terrible, but packing serious firepower while being as mobile as possible,
I'm sorry,
was of prime importance to them.
I don't know what it is about the show-shot. Show-shot just is one of those weird, like, sexy
Marine
things
Corps
to me.
style of fighting. Anyhow, they did not simply just copy French doctrines, though, but put heavy emphasis on traditional soldiery as well. True to their credo, every Marine a rifleman, the Corps constantly honed its skills on the shooting range with the standard Springfield rifle and trained for close combat with the bayonet. Two skills that, while not left behind in the Great War, took a backseat to others in terms of general 1918 combat, where the machine gun and the hand grenade were thought of as the tools of the infantryman. In early 1918, the huge German spring offensives, the Kaiserschlacht, had smashed into and through the Allied lines in Belgium and France. And as their Operation Blücher kicked off in late May, the Germans were soon less than 50 miles from Paris.
Not good.
panic spread.
God, this
even
just
though the
seems like
offensive was
fucking
pretty
hell.
clearly running out of steam, and the Allies urged the Americans to send in reinforcements. The Marines, as part of the 2nd American Division, were among those first reinforcements that were judged ready to be sent into action. Operation Blucher had created a large salient across the Aisne River and into the French front lines from Rheims to Soissons, and the German army was trying to get a hold on strategically valuable positions from which to launch further attacks. Such a position was Belleau Wood. The first elements of the 5th Marine Regiment were rushed into the lines on June 2nd. They were greeted by exhausted French soldiers who suggested the Marines follow their retreat, to which Captain Lloyd Williams only retorted, "Retreat? Hell, we just got here." The French...
Dude, I have heard that line so many times. This is the first time
Lloyd Williams...
I've actually seen the man who said it. This is the very first time. I've never actually seen like the man who said it, and God, he is a specimen. Oh, unfortunately, he passed away in 1918.
only retorted, "Retreat? Hell, we just got here." The French were by no means broken, but they had taken a hard hit, and the Americans had to take the defensive lead and dug in. The next day, as the Germans advanced from Belleau Wood over an open wheat field, they were unexpectedly met by highly accurate rifle fire and cut down in large numbers before hastily retreating back to the wood, probably wondering what the heck had just hit them.
Good
The
question.
German positions within Belleau Wood overlooked a wide area, and the small town of Belleau itself and its surroundings. And if an Allied counterattack was going to successfully eliminate the German salient and drive them back over the Aisne, their positions in Belleau Wood had to be taken. The next day, June 3rd, the Marines formed up in light order and marched over the same wheat field towards the woods to take it by storm. But as they marched into the open, they were suddenly hit by rifle and machine gun fire. Taking heavy casualties, the advance was quickly halted and the survivors pulled back. Clearly, the Americans were still green. They had to learn, and learn fast.
And from what I know, they did.
The Germans opposing them were veterans of the 4th Reserve Corps. Their commander was Major Josef Bischoff, a career soldier who had fought in the German Africa mission and was himself an experienced bushfighter. Although his men were suffering from exhaustion and chronic shortages of ammunition, shells, and food, he was determined to put his experience to good use in the thick of the woods, and carefully prepared his defenses. Thick undergrowth of bushes and large boulders were ideal hiding spots, and the steep ravines and hills slowed down every advance. So while it was really difficult to maintain an attacking formation, it also was to maintain a static line of defense. Belleau Wood was a place of small unit fighting. To break into Belleau Wood, the Marines had to take the high ground and the villages outside the woods first. While French artillery blasted Belleau Wood into an even more unmaneuverable maze, the men of the 5th Marines went into battle once again. On the 6th of June, they advanced towards the German positions on Hill 142, a major strongpoint that overlooked large parts of the woods. Again, they were met by entrenched machine guns and took heavy casualties in brutal fighting, especially after the German counterattack smashed into their advance. But the Marines prevailed. The hill was strewn with mutilated bodies from both sides, but it demonstrated that the Marines were not shaken by the effects of battle, which was good, because this was only a taste of what was yet to come. On the 11th, another major attack began. While other Marine companies attacked from the north and south, the main force was again ordered to advance over the open wheat field. This time, though, they had the help of a heavy ground fog that shrouded the advancing Marines from the eyes of the German outposts until they were already on top of them. Bayonets first, the Marines stormed into the German trench lines, attacking at close range. In those woods, the men were cut off. The heavy fog made flare guns ineffective, and telephone lines were already cut by the shelling. Only cold steel and personal bravery would prevail. The Americans were victorious in rolling up the forward defenses, but the Germans were not done yet. vanishing in the bushes. They retreated to new defenses. The initial rush had cost the Marines dearly, and during the night, they were suddenly hit by 7,000 mustard gas shells, saturating their surroundings with deadly toxins. Still, they were determined to push on, NCOs leading the small platoons. Machine gun nests were stormed by all-or-nothing bayonet charges. Grenades exploded among trees and
what
rocks,
a fucking
sending deadly
terrifying
splinters
thing to
flying
be
through the chaos
to
of battle.
think about.
And snipers targeted them from the treetops. But still, the Marines kept up their momentum. In fact, their aggressiveness was their best asset in those thick woods. More than once, they pushed through the German lines, then...
God, what was the fucking term Fat Electrician used? You have to get aggressive enough, quickly enough, and that's something the Marines excel at. That's what it was.
From the rear. In the spirit of Dan Daly,
Hell
who just
yeah!
days before had spurred
Damn
on his
fucking
fellow Marines
Daly!
with the words, "Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?" The Marines surged forwards. Few prisoners were taken in these days of the war, if any. It was merciless, you or me, close-range fighting, with no
Damn
room
fucking
for quarter.
Daly.
After days of combat, the Germans had lost significant chunks of ground and finally broke on the evening of the 24th. They fled to their last fortified positions near the edge of the woods. The Marines, though, had to stop as well. Despite their success, the casualties had been high.
High
and thousands of
casualties,
Marines
very
were either
fucking
dead
tired.
or wounded, among them Captain Williams, who had succumbed to gas and shrapnel wounds. It was now up
R.I.P.
to the
a
heavy
homie.
artillery to soften up the enemy first before the final attack could drive them from the woods.
Oh, that was a smooth action. Hold up. Watch that again.
Attack could drive them from
See how
the woods.
smooth that shit was? Holy fuck, that was lovely.
After a night of heavy shelling, the Marines moved out. Again, they met heavy machine gun and sniper fire. But after a few hours of heavy fighting, the battle was pretty much over. Ever more exhausted and demoralized Germans surrendered without a fight, and whole companies were captured by single men. By midday, June 26th,
Dan Daly did that
after
as well.
25 days of fighting, the last Germans in the wood
God,
were
just
killed
laying
or
there.
captured. The report to American headquarters read, "Woods now U.S. Marine Corps entirely." The fighting
Like,
for
that's such
Belleau
an
Wood
aura fucking thing.
became
That's so
an
badass.
instant PR hit in the American media.
Of course it
Ecstatic
is.
newspaper headlines ran on how the Marines saved Paris and of how the vicious devil dogs, as they were called, were feared by the Germans. Belleau Wood was in many ways the birthplace of the modern U.S. Marine Corps, and the name Devil Dog stuck after the heavy fighting of those June days in 1918. It is not entirely clear if, and in fact is even unlikely, that the name Devil Dogs, in German Teufelshunde, has its roots in the actual engagement in Belleau Wood. The term Teufelhunde had already appeared in the La Crosse Tribune in Wisconsin on April 27th. And other newspapers attributed the Devil Dog name to German pilots who apparently cursed the accuracy of American anti-aircraft batteries with that name. But whatever the case,
Either way, it stuck with the Marines after this battle. It may not have come from this battle, but this is what really cemented it.
the Marines had taken the fight to the enemy and were ready and willing to accept heavy casualties to achieve victory. So the fighting at Belleau Wood might
that's
as
an
well have
amazing
earned them the
fucking
nickname
painting.
Devil Dogs. The ferociousness of the attack was a real contributor that summer to the breakdown of the morale of the Germans, who had erroneously thought of the Americans as incompetent farmers and cowboys that did not know how to fight.
Oh, they were very
much
fucking...
mistaken.
Yeah, they were. They were very fucking wrong. Some amazing fucking paintings.
Okay, now Devil Dogs is from the
That
new
was so
album,
good.
The Great War. Yep.
Yes. And one of the things that catched my attention while writing this song was the phrases that were supposedly said during this one. All right, you sons of bitches.
You want to live forever? Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And
Fucking
we even
famous
put
as
it into
shit.
the song. So when Joachim was recording, he was like, and where do I sing this? Like, there are no melody for this.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, that's just a
Scream that
feeling
shit.
that you do.
Yeah, you scream that
in this
shit.
part. And he's like, then I know.
Wait, can we hear that little bit?
Like, that's so
There we go.
iconic. And it
Shockingly
fits so
as it
well.
is, I mean, when I'm writing something, I try to zoom in on the maps and see what it is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this forest is so small.
Yeah.
How could such a significant, brutal fighting happen around this little area here?
Yeah, sure.
And then I looked at maps from World War I, and I realized that it was the same farms, the same fields.
A lot of places you think were big were not that big. I mean, the whole of Verdun, this monster about you can walk it. You can walk it.
That is actually, that's insane to think about. Not even just that, though. It's also just sad to think about. Like, all these men dying, all for a fucking plot of land you can walk in a couple hours. Like, a tiny, tiny area is just sad to think about.
In an afternoon. I mean, it's the size of central Stockholm. That's not that big, you know, for 800,000 people to lose their lives.
Exactly.
And Belleau the same. I mean, you walk across it in a few minutes, not
like,
even half a day.
Like, wait. Where's the rest of it?
You can watch it. You can oversee the whole thing. We also even went.
That's really
before
sad
we
to think
met
about.
in Verdun. You remember that?
Yeah, sure. We had fun.
stopped at Belleau Wood Memorial.
All right. Okay.
We were driving, and this was actually not a stop planned. The publicist in France didn't even know that we had wrote the song because everything was secret at this time. And then I was watching where we were, and I'm like, Belleau? Okay. So I was telling the driver,
I love that.
we need to take a little bit of a detour. It's only gonna take us 20 minutes, and it's gonna be important for the rest of our lives. It means a lot when we actually get to a place where we
I love
where we
that.
sing
Sure.
about. So yeah.
And now,
I love that. Just didn't know about it, and it's, nah, we gotta take a detour. Won't take us long, but it is important, and it will stick with us. I love these little stories behind the scenes are really cool.
whose idea
I'm
was,
so glad that they include
was
them.
the idea of having a song about devil dogs for the album? Was that yours or Joachim's? Or?
The song was written by me, and we thought about naming it in the original German title, like Teufelhunde. But Devil Dogs just sounds better.
Do you know it? But there is a snack cake called Devil Dogs in the States. It's chocolate and it's got cream on the inside. I don't know if it came after or before the Marines and stuff, but they're good though.
I have never heard of those. What the fuck is he talking about? He says in the States. I've never heard of these before. This is very weird. I've never heard of that before.
They're good.
I have to try that.
Well, you'll be touring the States later this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So bring us back a box of Devil Dogs.
I will
so
bring
we can
it back.
do like our review with the whole band. We can get Tommy and Chris and Hannes here,
And we all eat the Devil Dogs.
I've
Well, since this
never
is
heard
on
of
the new
Devil
album,
Dogs
can we hear another
before.
few seconds of that
As a
music?
as a snack.
July 19th, you'll be able to hear this song and the other songs on the Great War, and that is it for Sabaton History for today.
Man, that seemed like such a short one. I must not have just been like talking. I must not have been talking as much because I was actually just entranced by so much of this. I'm gonna have to check out the entirety.
So if you are a patron,
I'm gonna have to check out the entirety of that album. I really am. God damn. This is really good. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Check out the originals link below. And until next time, you guys take care of yourselves. See ya.